Hello, I'm Whisper and welcome to Final Fantasy II. I don't know much about this game. I did play a little tiny bit of it, but I was having some audio issues and I had to restart, so this is the redo. I didn't get very far. I didn't even get out of the castle or hideout, whatever we were in. So, aside from like the first 10 minutes, I don't know much of anything. Before I started playing the first time, I did look up a little bit on Wikipedia, just because I was curious about the development cycle. Because if you look at a timeline of all the Final Fantasy games, or the mainline games at least, you would see that this game came out a year after Final Fantasy I. And so I was thinking, well, it's probably not going to be too different from the first game, just because in my mind, a year of development means that I guess nowadays I would think a year of development is a really concerning thing, depending on what kind of game or game series it is. And I wouldn't expect too much to be different. Like, I would think the combat is basically the same, art style is the same, mechanics are generally the same, just because you only have a year. How much can you expand upon that? But this was released in, I believe, 1988, so maybe things were different back then. Nowadays, a lot of games just have extremely long development time, and it's just getting longer and longer. All that to say, I did look up a little bit on Wikipedia, so a little bit of history I found is that this game's development started pretty shortly after the release of Final Fantasy I, after it was proved that it was a very successful game. Because initially, the first game, a lot of people didn't really have faith in it. It wasn't expected to do well. I think it may have even been Sakaguchi, the guy who created it, it might have been his last game if it didn't go well. And then he would be out of the games industry just because of burnout and things like that. I don't know if he ever confirmed that. That's just what I saw on the Wikipedia. And even the publisher he was with, Square, wasn't really looking to give the green light on that project. It's very ironic today because you see how big the series has grown. But all that being said, Final Fantasy did well, and then they greenlit this one. And one thing that I noted on the article was that this game, the combat is going to be different, and it's actually very divisive. So much so that when they went to develop Final Fantasy III, they just went back to the same system that the first game had. It seems like it's... So if you have multiple potential party members, like say you have 5 people, but only 4 people can be in your active party, the people in the active party will gain experience for every battle you do, but people who are not in the active party gain no experience, which is where the divisive part of the whole thing comes from. And I can see that. I think a lot of games nowadays don't really do that either. If you have people that aren't in your active party, they still get the same XP as the rest of the party members. I think the last game that I know of that did this really recently, or did something similar really recently, was Expedition 33. But even then, party members who weren't in your active party would get a fraction of the experience still, so they weren't lagging too far behind, and they could catch up pretty quickly if you swap them into your active party. Another thing that I noted when I was looking up some things about Final Fantasy I, actually, because I felt like it took a lot of inspiration from Dungeons & Dragons while I was playing, but I didn't want to look up for fear of spoilers, so I waited until after I was done with the game. And it did. It took inspiration from this game called Wizardry, which I think is another tabletop game that's very heavily inspired by D&D, as well as some other tabletop games, some other RPGs, and D&D itself. And if you look back, you can see the inspiration, like MP is more like spell slots. There are a lot of monsters in the game that are one-to-one with enemies in D&D. There's even there's one enemy called the Evil Eye, I think it was, which had to be changed when the game came over to North America because it was originally just a beholder. Even the sprite was just a beholder, but they had to change that because beholder is copyright by Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro. One, both. But then the general consensus among people is that while Final Fantasy I was very D&D inspired, this game starts to pull away from that, and it's where the series kind of starts to get its identity more and build on that. And the last thing I know is that the story is actually going to be more involved, and we'll see that right away once we start. Because the first game, the story is pretty bare bones. It was very... I would say it was very straightforward. Like, you have, go to a place, do a thing, deliver an item, defeat the evil guy, rinse and repeat until you defeat the ultimate evil. This one, I think, is supposed to focus more on interpersonal relationships, or at least that is what I can remember from what little I saw. I didn't want to spoil myself too much, so I avoided looking too deeply into it. But it should be a very different experience from the first game. And with that all said, we should just get right into it. Do a new game. And so you see right off the bat, this is already different. First game, you get to name all of your party members yourself, and then you could choose their classes. This one, they seem to have set classes, but it's a little different. We'll see later. But we have names here. Oh, and I could change their names. I'm not going to. So see their names here are Firion, Maria, Guy, and Leon. And I could change your name. I have no reason to. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. A long-lived peace. Is at an end. Those look like the bomb-type enemies. The Empire of Palmesia has called forth monsters from the underworld, and has begun his campaign for world conquest. Oh, the Emperor? A rebel army rose in the Kingdom of Fynn to thwart the Emperor's plans. But the rebels' castle fell to an all-out assault by the Empire. Left with little choice, the rebels withdrew to the remote town of Altair. Four youths from Fynn also found themselves fleeing the Imperial forces. They had lost their parents at the hands of the Empire, but their escape wasn't over. And right into it right away. We have no items, no magic, all we can do is attack. And just take note of the formation here, and how it's a little bit different from how it was in the first game. Hilda. Will he live? Minwoo. He will. I sense a strong life force within him. He should regain consciousness soon. We found them like this on the escape from Finn, fallen from terrible wounds. By the time we brought them here, I feared it was already too late. His life is not in danger. This sigil will strengthen his life force. We should let him rest now. Of course. We'd best be off to the meeting. I imagine they're already waiting for us. If the Empire is allowed to complete the dreadnought they're building in Bosk, their attack will begin in earnest. We cannot sit idly by and watch. We must act. Where am I? Spherian? Leon? Maria? Guy? Where are you? Spherian, you're alive. I thought you... I'm fine, Maria. You seem alright too, Guy. But wait, where's Leon? Princess of Finn, save us. But Leon not here. I see. Don't worry, I'm sure he's okay. So, you've regained your strength. Very good. Your life force is strong indeed. It was you who saved us, wasn't it? Thank you. Forgive me, Your Highness, but there is something I must ask of you. Please let us join the rebel army. I could never allow such a thing. You know nothing of battle. You'd only be throwing your lives away. You should return to your homes. But we have no homes. Not anymore. The Imperials attacked, and our parents. I'm truly sorry, but that changes nothing. I cannot permit you to join our army. If you've nowhere else to go, you're welcome to stay here in Altair. If you know our password, you should be able to live here well enough. The password is Wild Rose. Remember it well. So you can see right off the bat, very different from the first game. We have our characters are speaking first off. They have actual backstories and an actual connection to a place, whereas the Warriors of Light kind of just appeared. And the world feels more involved and lived in a way. Like we have an actual history for the world, and actual conflicts between different nations. With the first game, it kind of felt like places were just set pieces for you to get to, and there was a little bit of history, but it wasn't very important. And obviously this war is going to be playing a major theme throughout the story. And now we have a turn to learn, Wild Rose. And I do remember Wild Rose being used in Final Fantasy XIV. It's like a code word, or a secret code for the Scions. It's something like, I go whither the wild rose blooms. And then I think actually another veteran, I think also a veteran reward you can get for being subbed for however many numbers of days is Furion's outfit, if I'm remembering correctly. And it's also called the Wild Rose something. The Wild Rose is the insignia of the Kingdom of Finn. It represents our hope for a flourishing future of strength and beauty. But what will become of Finn now? I've heard that the Empire's captives suffer there in confinement even as we speak. Maria, your brother Leon is missing, is he not? It's possible that he's being held in Finn as well. But Finn is far too dangerous to travel to now. The Emperor's beasts still stalk the streets. Gaining entrance to the city will not be easy. The man on my right is Minwoo. the white wizard who tended your wounds. Speak with him before you leave. He may be of some assistance. And that's all we can do with her. And these controls are all pretty much the same from the first game. Also, that initial cutscene, the first time I recorded this, I missed most of it. Or I missed being able to read most of it out loud because it just goes very fast. I was only able to get it this time since I was prepared, but I wish they had toned down the speed a little bit. I see your destiny clearly. The future it holds seems closely entwined with my own. You'll begin by journeying to Fynn. That is the first step towards realizing your fate. You've wasted no time using the password. Heed well the information it will bring you. You can learn much of value by listening. I offer you one more bit of advice before you depart for Fynn. Those who have fallen in battle can be revived at a sanctuary. Should one of you fall before you reach Fynn, go without hesitation to the nearest sanctuary. So those are like chapels in the first game. The port of Paloom lies not far east of here, but a lake separates us, so you won't be able to reach the town without a canoe. Heading to Fynn, are we? It's not my place to tell you what to do, but I'd reconsider if I were you. It's a dangerous place to be, you see. The city is crawling with the Empire's monsters. To the north lies a small village called Gatrea. Judging by the look of you, you'd be lucky to make it that far. Before you go anywhere, I suggest you visit the room with the sigil that saved your life. There you'll find people who can teach you a thing or two about adventuring. I think you're going to need all the advice they can spare. So I'm not sure how young the party is supposed to be. It called them youths and it mentioned their parents, so I kind of feel like they're late teenagers or very early 20s maybe. When I think of the word youth, or when I hear the word youth, I usually think of pretty old teenagers. This is the Rebel Army's war room. And same thing. So these guys are gonna be like the they were sages. The sages from FF1 that you found them in the first inn and they told you about different game mechanics. But before talking to them, I actually want to look at the menu. So we can see here HP, MP, everyone's similar. Guy seems a little bit tankier, Maria seems pretty squishy, but I think that makes sense with her being an archer. And we see the formation here. So one of the sages is going to explain it a little bit later. But basically this is their the row that they're in during battles. So there's a front row and a back row, and Maria is set in the back row because she is squishy. And because archers and mages I think they do more damage if they're in the back row and they take less damage. And then people in the front row take more damage, obviously. As for items, we don't really have anything. I think these are all equipped by Furion. And no magic, so I'm assuming I have to buy it again. Yep, broadsword, buckler, leather armor, bow and clothes. And he has an axe and leather armor. And Maria seems to be she has more agility and intellect than the other two. Guy has more strength, so I think he is being set up to be more of a tank, but I think it's pretty freeform the way you can set them up, so this is just my guess, but I think if I wanted to maybe make her a tank, I could push for it. It would be a little bit more difficult to get her down that route than with Guy, but it might be possible. And Furion, he looks like an all-rounder, so I think he's set up to be whatever you want him to, but he starts off as more of a kind of tanky DPS build. This is our key terms. Wild Rose, the insignia of the Kingdom of Fynn. The rebels also use it as their password. Configuration. So there's a bestiary like with FF1. I'll try and reference this more since I know that it's actually here. But we'll see how much it matters, because FF1 was a little bit more... I feel like the balancing was off, so you didn't really need to worry about weaknesses and resistances outside of boss battles. This one, I'm not sure if it'll be the same. Just because the Pixel Remaster, the remasters for the first 6 games were all released at the same time, I believe, so it's possible that they all kind of have similar balancing. And again, we won't see until we actually get into a battle. Boost. It's interesting that there's skill level boost and attribute and compensatory HP. Increase your max HP after a fixed number of wins in battle. I think that's gonna tie into something we're about to learn here in a second. Shall I tell you about chests? Yes. Treasure chests can contain things like items and gil. Many treasure chests also hold rare items you'll not find for sale in any shop. If you're lucky enough to come across such items, hold on to them. But treasure chests aren't all gil and glory by any means. Some chests conceal monsters looking within. There's no way to know what's inside a chest until you open it, but monsters often accompany especially good loot. Monsters, yes. There are many different types of monsters. Some monsters are vulnerable to certain types of attacks. For example, the undead are weak against fire, and aquatic monsters are weak against lightning. However, there are also monsters that absorb particular elemental attacks. And this, I remember this being a thing in 10. Like a strat you could do is, if you have a free out in the field, the free he is immune to fire damage. And so if you use one of your own, like a Freed's elemental attacks on himself, then it actually will heal him. And that's how you can keep him in the field a little bit longer, because most summons in that game don't really have healing abilities. Casting fire on a monster made of flame will heal it instead of doing damage. You can damage zombies and other undead with restorative magic like Cure and items like Garlic. Another thing I remember in 10. So basically healing hurts them. So if I'm in a pinch, or maybe I don't have, like say I don't have any Dia spells left on me, but I do have a big cure, I could throw that on a zombie and try and kill it that way. Garlic is interesting though, because I know that's for vampires, but for other undead, that's not usually how it goes. But be careful when using spells that steal HP or MP, such as Drain and Osmos. When used against the undead, these spells can backfire and hurt you instead. Flee command. You can escape from battles by selecting the flee command. There's no point in fighting a losing battle. If a foe is too difficult, you're better off fleeing. Think carefully before you act. Shall I teach you a thing or two about weapons? There are 7 weapon categories: swords, spears, axes, staves, knives, bows, and unarmed. Swords, spears, axes, staves, and knives are one-handed weapons and can be equipped along with a shield. It is also possible to equip 2 one-handed weapons, one in each hand. Equipping a bow requires 2 free hands, but allows a character to attack with the same damaging force from the rear row of the party formation. Fighting unarmed is another splendid choice and can be as powerful as any weapon. Unfortunately, equipping a shield cuts an unarmed combatant's attack power in half. So if you plan to fight unarmed, it's probably wise to just skip shields altogether. Information displayed on the status menu. You can develop the attributes and abilities displayed on the status menu by fighting battles. Attributes such as strength and magic will change according to the actions you take in battle. If a character attacks, his or her strength and weapon skill may improve. Similarly, if a character uses magic, his or her spirit, intellect, and magic level may improve. There are 11 different attributes that can change. Would you like me to explain these 11 attributes in more detail? Yes. HP. If a character loses HP during battle, his or her maximum HP will increase. Participating in lots of battles can also increase maximum HP. So this makes it sound like you kind of want them to get hit, at least a little bit. MP. If a character's MP drops during battle, his or her maximum MP will rise. Strength. Attacking during battle will increase a character's strength. Stamina. If a character loses HP during battle, his or her stamina will improve. Spirit. Using white magic in battle will increase the caster's spirit. Agility. Battling while your evasion is high will raise agility. So this is the only one I'm a little bit confused on. Because I'm wondering if I were to use something like Blink, the spell Blink, which increases evasion, I believe. That helps my agility, I assume. But I wonder, does it double my agility? Like, is it just having evasion at all will help raise agility, and then having Blink on top of that will raise it twice? Intellect. Using black magic in battle will increase the caster's intellect. Magic. If a character's MP drops during battle, his or her magic will rise. Accuracy. As strength rises, so will accuracy. Equipping better weapons will also improve accuracy. Evasion. Being attacked by foes will raise evasion. Equipping a shield will also improve evasion. Magic defense. When foes cast spells on a character, his or her magic defense will rise. As you can see, it never hurts to try all manner of things in battle. So I think this definitely helps incentivize battles more. Like, in FF1, I would do them just to gain experience, but in this one, it's like it's not only that you're getting experience, but you're also actively increasing your stat levels. Whereas in FF1, they would just increase with every level up, but this one it feels a little bit more dynamic. Skill levels. Skill levels can be divided into two broad categories: weapon skill levels and magic skill levels. But wait, there's more. Weapon skill levels are divided by weapon type, such as sword and axes. Similarly, magic skill levels are divided by spell. Spells like Cure and Fire each have their own skill level. Attacking with a given type of weapon improves the corresponding weapon skill. As your skill levels rise, your attack and accuracy with those types of weapons will likewise improve. Casting a given spell improves the corresponding magic skill. Spells become more powerful and effective as their skill levels rise. Armor. There are 4 types of armor: shields, helms, body armor, and gloves. Shields are equipped in the same fashion as one-handed weapons, in either the right hand or the left. Since wearing a shield only requires one hand, you could also equip any one-handed weapon along with it. Should you so choose, you can equip 2 shields, one in each hand. This makes you attack empty-handed, however, and that isn't good because your damage is halved. So why would I want to equip 2 shields? I assume if I was just making someone who is nothing but a tank, they just like stand there and take damage and take aggro. But that seems kind of boring. Helms are equipped on the head, gloves on the hands and forearms, and body armor, of course, on the body. Provided you can afford it, you should always keep your party protected with good armor. Magic. There are two schools of magic, black magic and white magic. White magic specializes in healing and support spells. For example, Cure restores lost HP, and life revives characters who have been KO'd. Black magic, on the other hand, specializes in offensive spells. Blizzard deals ice damage, Thunder deals lightning damage, and so on. Characters can learn both black and white magic spells in any combination they choose. However, the character can only learn a maximum of 16 spells. You can use the Forget command to remove any spell a character has already learned. Forgotten spells can be learned again, but their levels reset to 1, so use caution when forgetting spells. So this is another difference right off the bat. Anyone can use black and white magic. It does make me curious if when is the next time that red mages come into the series? Because I know they exist in 14, and that has a distinction between black magic and white magic. So you have actual white mages, you have actual black mages, so red mages fit in with being the only ones who can use both. But then in 10, there's a similar thing going on, like, especially with the sphere grid, you could have Yuna who uses white magic primarily, but then dip her into like Lulu's side of the sphere grid, so she starts getting black magic spells. I'm just curious, like, does red mage become more obsolete, or is it going to show up prior to 14? Formation command. Use the formation command to assign characters to either the front or rear row of the party's battle formation. Characters in the front row can attack using any type of weapon. Characters in the rear only do half damage when attacking with anything except bows or magic. However, they only receive half damage from enemy attacks. Assign each character to the row that best suits his or her abilities. Actually, I want to see this again. Okay. In the course of a conversation with someone, a particularly important word may come up. When this happens, 3 commands will appear: ask, learn, and key items. Select learn to commit the key term to memory. You can then use ask to ask people about any key terms you've learned. Keep in mind that only certain words can be learned in this way. To show someone an item from your inventory, select key items. When you learn new words or find rare items, you should ask people about the words or show them what you found. And that's it. Then if I walk here, nothing happens. Which makes me wonder if something is going to happen here later, just because I feel like if this was not going to be important anymore, then they would just let you walk across it like nothing. It would just be kind of like a drawing on the ground, but it has a prompt. And also there are these discolored spaces where a sprite can fit in pretty comfortably. And 4 sprites too, so the size of your party. So that makes me think this might be a place we come back to later. And so that was as far as I got in my first recording, so everything after this is going to be completely blind. Also, so our location, I am saying Altair. I kind of want to say Altair just because of Assassin's Creed, because that's the way I learned how to pronounce it, but it doesn't have the 2 dots above the I, so I don't know if that's really how they would pronounce it, so I'm just going to say Altair. Here's our map. I see a chest over this way. You're in the rebel hideout in the town of Altair. Gordon, the Prince of Kashwan, is hiding out here in Altair. I don't know what happened, but something has made him lose faith in himself. Princess Hilda fled here when Finn was sacked. She's doing a remarkable job of leading the rebel army while His Majesty recovers. I think His Majesty. Was he maybe the guy that we saw in the first cutscene in that throne room? So everyone else like ran out and he was the one left behind and he got surrounded by the Empire's forces. So I think this is the same sprite as the what are they called? The mermaids? But it's got armor on it now? Or she's got armor on her now? Potion. Small amount of HP. Not a ton to interact with just yet. That looks like the exit, so we're not going to go that way yet. I want to go in the small room first. Okay. This is the king's bedchamber. His Majesty was grievously wounded in the flight from Finn. He's been resting here for some time now. This is the king's— oh yeah, same thing. An arrow struck me in the back during the battle, leaving me in this state. Perhaps I really have grown old. My daughter, Hilda, now serves as regent. You should speak with her. Okay, this isn't the guy from the beginning then. I really like Furion's sprite. It's very eye-catching. We are just in Altair. I'm Paul, greatest thief in all the world. They've yet to invent the loot I can't burgle or steal. The Imperial coffers have kept my purse fat with gil lately. I never steal from the rebels, you can be sure of that. My home was in Fynn, too. I can't even go home now that the Empire has occupied the city. This is the town of Altair. The Imperial forces haven't been deployed this far out yet. I suppose it's only a matter of time, though. I wonder if he'll come with us? Because he has such a unique-looking sprite. And a name on top of that. Actually, let me not look at this. Once again, I need to focus on spells first. My name is Gordon. I was once a prince of Kashwan. Now I'm nothing but a coward. When my brother Scott fell in battle, I abandoned my kingdom and fled here. So, you've asked to take up arms in the struggle. I'm so afraid Hilda will turn me away that I haven't even asked her. I've been stalling here. I'm just a spineless coward. Go ahead, laugh. I deserve it. We'll come back to you later. Actually, let me see. So maybe not, because there's some people that have these special colors around their name tags, like Gordon here. He has yellow, Furion has blue, I think it was. Minwu has white. So maybe that is signifying people that are going to be very important to our journey. Or maybe even party members? Actually, I want to check if the princess had one. I don't think she did. No, she didn't. Nothing about the well. This looks like it's probably the sanctuary. Ah. That's cute. I like that they have the Final Fantasy motif in there. Paul's a skilled thief, but don't worry, you can trust him. He only steals from the Imperials. Tobal, the fellow over in that weapons shop, is one fine blacksmith. I think something's been bothering him lately, though. Excuse me. So I see a white magic shop only, no black magic. Oh, it would be both now because it doesn't matter. Fire Tome teaches the fire spell, thunder spell, blizzard, cure. I don't know who to give all this to. Because I kind of want to avoid giving Maria any white magic spells just because I feel like it's so easy to put the woman in a healing position. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that. I want to make her a damage dealer. But it would be safer since she's in the back of the party. Fire is a good start. And cure. Maybe I'll get enough money to where I can just give cure to anybody. I will hold off on cure. I kind of want to see how battles go first. Topol, what could you want with me? I'm just an old man. Oh yeah. The keys are act as just a cover. My name's Tobal, and I'm the best armed blacksmith in the rebel army. Knife, staff, javelin, broadsword. Accuracy, 55 evasion, 2 magic interference. No, 10 attack, 55 accuracy, 2 evasion, 15 magic interference. Well, this seems better. None of them have any headwear, so I could get this. Or gloves? Right. Oh, also, here now there's a favored hand and an unfavored hand. So far, they all have their right hand as their favored hand. I don't know if this will change with any characters. And I assume if I were to put his shield on his right hand and then the sword in his left hand, it would make his attack worse. But let me get gloves and caps. Oh, I don't have money. It's fine. And then I'll just see what they have in the potion shop. See if it's any different from one. There's 3 of you. Phoenix Down, Ether Cottage Elixir. Cross, Mallet, Maiden's Kiss, Toad. It's funny that you're curing amnesia with a blow to the head. Potion eye drops antidote. I kind of wish they look different. I guess it doesn't matter because they're in this position, but is every potion shop gonna have 3 merchants in it? And are they all gonna sell the same things in their specific position? Welcome, please come in. Oh, nice. It will cost 0 gil to rest up and heal. Would you like to stay? No, not right now. Whoa. Big world map. So I see a frozen spot up top, deserts to the south and east. There's a tiny, tiny island at the very bottom of the map. This is... I think this is like FF1 where it's the entire world, not just a portion of it. Because I see in the southeast section, it continues downward, and it looks like it should line up with the northwest section and then also the northeast bit. I think we have to go north? It's kind of the only place we can go. Leg Eater? Oh god, she's poisoned already. I don't have anything for that. Oh no, it should be fine. I think it'll work like last time. Their attacks just go over to whoever dies first. Or who... If the enemy dies, their attack goes to the next person. Okay, so his skill with the shield went up. And with the sword, her with the bow, him with the axe. And her MP went up, which makes sense. Oh, is she not poisoned anymore? Okay, so it's not like last time. It goes away after battle. I'm thinking now I might have my tank become a paladin-like character. So I was just thinking it might be beneficial to have curing spells on the tanky character because they're less likely to die. What the hell? What was that? But just a random airship. But I'll wait and see once I get my party filled out. This is the swampy area. Oh, okay, it has total amount of MP now. And this just wraps back around. And I'll go back here to buy some stuff. How much gold do I actually have? 203. So I should be able to equip the rest of them with helmets. Not you. Actually. Oh, okay. This makes her evasion a little bit worse. Let me see their statuses. So he's a little bit tankier. I think giving up his evasion is fine at this point. They both can have it right now. It's so early that I'm not too worried about these things. Then I can buy potions probably. One antidote is fine. Oh my god. I haven't even stepped out the city. I'm kind of hesitant to commit to any one build right off the bat because I want to get my entire party filled out and then start deciding based off of that. So like I'm not using fire too much on Maria because I don't know if I want her to be more magic-y or more archer-y. I kind of feel like I want Furion to be my all-rounder though, so I should give him some spells soon. Betraya. Or Gatria? This is the village of Gatria. Finn is just over there across the lake. See? Oh, this is the place we saw in the opening cutscene, right? Routine go. No, thank you. Will they have new things to sell? Not yet. The Imperial forces have occupied Castle Finn. The gates are drawn and no one can enter. And with Imperial troops and monsters roaming the streets, the city isn't any better off. Gatrea and Altair haven't fallen into the clutches of the Empire yet, but once the Dreadnought is complete, nothing will be able to stop the Empire. Same stuff. So my initial thought is that the Dreadnought may be some giant airship, because I'm kind of thinking of the Garlean Empire in 14, and that was kind of their whole thing was Magitech and airships, and they had these giant airships that allowed them to take over the skies. There's a pub just on the outskirts of Fitton. When the Empire invaded, the barkeep didn't make it out in time. They say he's still working there, pouring drinks for the Imperials. Oh, this is the sanctuary. What items do I have? And no magic shop here. I'm actually gonna go back to Altair and get some of the other elemental spells. I think it would be cool too to have some of them specialize in things, like maybe Maria is the fire specialist and then Furion is the ice specialist. I'm thinking if this is similar to FF1 where areas were based on levels, they didn't level with you, then if I wanted to switch somebody up, maybe around mid-game, probably wouldn't be the worst thing to do because I could just run around in a low-level area and build them up. It would be tedious probably, but it would keep me from, like, I would still feel free to respec in a way. I'll give that to Furion. I can't imagine money is going to be an issue. It stopped being an issue late game with 1, so it'll probably follow the same here. His MP went up and his magic went up. Hers hasn't yet, but I'm sure a couple more casts will get it up. Just across the lake, so we have to go around. And I guess if I wanted to level one person specifically, or a certain attribute of theirs, I could make everybody else defend except for that one person. So just looking at guys, there it goes again. His weapon stat, and it's still at 2, and theirs are at 3. And it's because they've been killing things faster than he's able to even attack. So if they don't attack anything, then I can build up his skill. All they have is a cottage, no tents anymore. Actually, how much is a phoenix down? 500? I'm sure we can get one in a little bit. Actually, what does amnesia mean here? Cures. Is it kind of like a replacement for confuse? I'm guessing this is something that will come into play more towards the middle of the game, so I don't have to worry about it now, maybe? I hope so, anyway.